All right, everyone. We're going to talk a little bit about my my garden here at the moment. I'm going to go over first off this first video, even though I realize that everything's already been planted. There's just going to go over, I guess, the structure part of this. So I had a friend of mine that I'd done a little bit of trading with and ended up getting a bunch of old redwood deck boards. I figured that'd end up making a really good base for my garden. All the garden beds are 4 foot by 8 foot for, you know, those of you that aren't good at being able to estimate what size is. Just put them together, basically overlap the corners and cut some 4x4 posts there so that you could hook them together. The main structure of this, like I said, just got the 4 beds, enough gap in between to be able to work in there, kneel down if I have to be able to weed the garden, which if you can see really close is probably just about ready for something like that. The other part of the structure that I really kind of enjoy, the part that I think I'm going to get the most use out of, hopefully, is I took the 16-foot long cow panels. There's 2 of them on this side and 2 of them that goes in between the beds. You can see I got 4 just regular old T-posts that go in the ground here, and the cow panels are arched in between the 2. Now what makes this really nice going between the 2 is that if you do the distance like I did, we got basically about 2 foot in this bed, maybe a little bit short of 2 foot in this bed, and all the way over here 2 foot on this bed, and then we have a 2 foot space in between. If we all do the math right, we got 6 foot in between, and it actually makes an arc on these that is tall enough that someone who is 6 foot tall, like I am, can actually walk in between. So that ends up being really rather nice. Right now I have my cucumbers over here in this particular bed, and as you can see here, they're planted for the most part right up against the cow panels. You can see they're really starting to bloom, so it's been pretty good weather here for being able to do cucumbers. But the trellis is going to act as my spot for my climbers to be able to go all the way up the trellis. So if this works out hopefully the way that it should, we're going to do pretty well. There's a few blooms on the plants already, so apparently they're not really upset at this point. And in this one here I also have some squash. I've got a pair of winter squash and a pair of summer squash over here. The winter squash here is what I've got planted towards the north, so they're already starting to climb. This one here is taking a little bit more time to get taken off. I'm not exactly sure why. It could be because it's planted right next to this one here, which is just doing phenomenally well. I'm not sure if I got my garden spacing exactly right, but of the squash that I have there, you can see we got a couple of blooms coming out. I got one on there that's already setting on the vine, so as far as that goes, as early as it is, I'm not going to complain about that very much at all. Now, on this side and this side, I have my tomato plants. This is my bed. Sorry about the filming there. This is my bed that has my tomato plants in it. And then this bed over here is the one that has all the pepper plants in it. I decided to put them as far away as I can from this particular set of trees here, because these trees are walnut, and walnut trees and pepper plants and tomato plants don't get along very well. So I thought I would put them as far away from that as possible. It's been a pretty nice, fairly mild spring here, which is unusual for Kansas, but usually when we have, you know, the nice hot weathers, when the peppers really start taking off, and they really haven't done that yet just because we haven't had that. Now, on the tomato plants, obviously nothing to climb as far as the cow panel goes, but they were going to be acting as my support structure, so I'm going to just take, you know, something to tie those off. I haven't decided exactly what's going to, you know, be the thing to tie those off yet, but we'll just attach something to the cow panels themselves and tie off the tomatoes, and if that works, we'll keep doing it next year, and if it doesn't, then we'll have to do a garden redesign and figure out what we want to do from there. The last thing I guess to take a look at is going to be the irrigation system. I decided to go with just plain old 1/2 inch PVC, and I didn't glue any of this stuff together. I just made the little beds. I do have my hose coming in from up here, and the only reason I have it going like this is that way I don't have to pick the thing up off the ground in order to mow. So I can mow right beside this without having to worry about hooking or detaching anything. So that's kind of the idea behind doing this right here. So we've got one lead that comes in down on this side, and if you follow it up and around, we got another lead that comes in down on this side. So have the regular old drip work stuff coming out of here, and we've got 2 little every 6-inch, I forget exactly what those things are called for your drip lines, I guess. You get the 6-inch drip line that's going down here. There's basically 2 per bed. Shut-offs in each one of the beds so that I can do any type of small regulation when it comes to any one of the beds there, so I can, you know, turn that down a little bit if I want to at any particular bed. If I wanted to water just one bed, then I could do that as I went along. So the idea here is to put maybe some wood chips down here and something along these so that I don't accidentally step on them and disconnect them. I thought in the winter what would be the easiest thing to do is I could just disconnect everything and I could put it away for the winter. And now this video for me will actually serve as how to put the thing back together, so that's kind of nice. Other than that, that's what I got. Tell me what you think. Thanks much and see you next time.